Donald MacDonald, and thank you to be with us today.
Thank you.
You are a member of a BT pension fund. We are talking about ESG issues or ESG future with you. How does addressing ESG issues help you better manage your fund financial performance?
I think the importance of ESG is that it should be an integral part of our overall risk management. Our investment belief is very, very simple, and that is that a well-run company will deliver best long-term value for its owners. And that's a very simple belief which we apply to listed equities, we apply to the properties that we own, we apply to the private equity that we are involved in, and we apply it generally to the portfolios. And because we believe that a well-run company that will look after its suppliers, its customers, its clients, its employees, that does not dump its pollution for society or the community to repair. That, in other words, that a company who actually does not externalise its problems but deals with its problems and is efficiently managed, those are the companies and the types of assets that will actually give us long-term benefit and long-term return. So it's part of a very strong holistic overall approach to risk management, but also it's not just a question of risk. There are actually opportunities, because we have been able to demonstrate, for example, as far as particular assets are concerned or particular properties are concerned, that we can actually improve performance for the pension scheme by making the entity more efficient in terms of its management of those risks. So if you take property, for example, energy and water conservation and waste management can quite easily be audited. And you can make significant improvements in that, which result in benefits for your clients, i.e. the companies or the shops who are renting property from you. It actually gives them benefits, which can reduce their rents in some cases or reduce their overall costs, but actually improve our returns as well. So there are a lot of very positive issues in there. So it's partly to control our risks, but it's also partly to see how we can use ESG as a means of improving our results.
Do you believe that pension funds can play a key role in driving the ESG performance of PRI signatories?
I think pension funds and fund managers really do have a very strong responsibility to work together in this area. There is no question about it that from the UN Environmental Programme Finance Initiative study of 2005, it's absolutely clear that in a study of 10 or 12 jurisdictions, including the United States, the European Union, and most of the main European countries, absolutely clear that we have a fiduciary responsibility to take those environmental, social, and governance risks into account in the investment process if they may become material. And it's the issue of materiality is a fair one, because we are only there to try and match the liabilities of the pension scheme. That's why we want the best return. So if those risks could become material, we actually do have a strong fiduciary responsibility to manage those risks. And equally, the fund managers to whom we share some of that fiduciary responsibility, equally have a responsibility in that. So I think we need to work together to try and raise the standards and to try and make sure that we're all moving in the same direction and we're actually making this work and work properly.
In addition to public disclosure, what other factors can encourage laggards to catch up to their peers?
I think disclosure itself is terribly important, but it's not just a question of statutory or regulatory disclosure. I welcome all of the studies that are undertaken. For example, in the UK, we have Fair Pensions makes an annual study of major pension schemes. We have the UK Social Investment Forum does a similar job. And of course, all signatories to PRI also have to go through an assessment process on an annual basis. And as a consequence of that, what we're seeing now is that organisations, pension funds and fund managers are now able to take a step back 1 day a year or 2 days a year and really see what they are doing in its totality. And that's terribly important, because if you've got a very narrow focus on just one aspect of ES or G or whatever, then of course you lose sight of the big picture. So I think it's actually working together. It's having greater transparency with the outside organisations. I personally do not strongly favour regulation in this area because I actually do believe it's better to try and change behaviours rather than do it through regulation. The problem, I think, with regulation or legislation is that ESG and risk management then becomes simply a box-ticking exercise. And of course, there are some countries where pension funds are required to disclose what they are doing on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 issues. But by doing that, what they're effectively saying is you do not need to report on the other 26 issues. So I think it's actually better to look at how we can best change behaviours. And I think the key to that situation is for ourselves as pension funds to actually be responsible owners. We are not day traders. We are not